finished getting ready with me while I talk about my experience as being a 16-year-old teen mom to be. I'm 23 weeks pregnant, so I'm not a mom yet, but I will be. 19 weeks, 17. But I thought it was a good idea to like share about my story because like I've decided that I want to post my teen pregnancy and nobody really knows like my circumstance, so I thought it was a good idea to like, I don't know, talk about it. Let's start with my baby daddy. So me and him have been together for 3 years. His name is Josiah. We have a great relationship. I mean, no bad vibes with that. Love him to death. Want to marry him. That's kind of what made the decision so hard, just because like we have been together for so long and it's not like this was like a one night stand or, you know, it's not like we had only been together for 3 months. Like, we love each other, and we've kind of had this idea that we wanted to be together forever. I was just kind of already on the table before I got pregnant. Obviously, being 16 years old, like, we were definitely teetering on the abortion side, keeping the baby. Like, it was very 50-50 on what we wanted to do. We did not know what we wanted to do. For the first, like, 3 weeks, we had no idea. He didn't even tell his parents for the first 3 weeks. Going back to when I had first gotten pregnant, though, we were in Hawaii. I had gone to Hawaii with his family. We were on family vacation together. We conceived in Hawaii on my birthday. Fun fact. But I remember in Hawaii, we weren't great about using protection in Hawaii. So I remember like the weeks leading after that was kind of nerve-wracking. I remember like feeling my boobs and seeing if they were like getting sore. Yeah. But what had gotten me stressing was that his mom had her period in Hawaii, but I had gotten mine before Hawaii. And so a few weeks later, after Hawaii, when we got back home, I went to his house and she was talking about how she was on her period again. And I was like, I haven't gotten my period yet. That's weird. That doesn't line up. So that's when I started stressing, and that was like literally 2 days before junior year, mind you. Anyway, so took the test, 3 days into junior year, found out I was pregnant. Most stressful 3 weeks of my life. We're not gonna get too much into that, but what I'm gonna say is that we did end up going to Planned Parenthood and getting the 2 abortion pills that you take. There's mifepristone, and then I forget how to say it. I took the first pill though. I had taken the first pill, and that does not end the pregnancy. It can end the pregnancy. It's kind of 50-50. The second pill is what usually ends the pregnancy. But the first pill just kind of, it stops the nutrients from getting to the baby, so like the baby could potentially survive, it potentially couldn't. But anyway, 10 minutes before I was supposed to take the second pill, and before Josiah was supposed to come over to be with me for the abortion, because abortion is painful, I decided that I wasn't gonna be able to do it. I did not think that I was gonna be okay after the abortion. Like, that's what also made this decision so hard, is because I knew that I was gonna struggle mentally. Like, I already do struggle mentally, like, pretty bad. And I had, like, called my mom down, and I started, like, begging her to take me to the ER because I wanted to know if the first pill had ended the pregnancy or not. It's very 50-50 on whether the first pill can end the pregnancy or not. I don't know. Fact check me in the comments. I don't care. But yeah. Anyway, fast forward to today, the baby survived the first abortion pill. I left that in God's hands at that point. I went through me and Josiah both, we went through all the stages of grief, of what we thought what we thought our life was going to be like. We did not plan to get pregnant. We did not want to have a baby at 16 years old, but, you know, we're a firm believer in, like, everything happens for a reason, so here we are. We have a great support system. We're very lucky to be in the circumstance that we are. Not everyone has it like that. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that. I'm very happy.
So this is a story time about the guy I dated who I caught wearing my thongs. Now, disclaimer, I'm not shaming him for who he's choosing to love. This is just my experience of dating him. Alright, so when I was 19, I started dating this guy I met off Tinder. And shortly into our relationship, my dumbass decides, move in. So I move in, and one day he's at work. I'm not yet working. I'm cleaning the apartment, and I'm like, why am I finding women's thongs and underwear, like, all over? And I'm like actually concerned. I'm like, he's cheating on me. There's no fucking way. Like, are we serious? yeah, we're serious. And I find out later that those underwear are his ex-girlfriend's underwear, so I was like more stunned by that. I was like, why did you keep them? I don't know if he was smelling them or wearing them. I don't know. But, so later on into our relationship, on my birthday, I get added into this like group chat, and it's with his ex-girlfriends, and they're like, girl, watch out. Like, watch out. He might be a little fruity. And I was like, him? He's literally a Trump supporter. There's no way. There's no way. But, and I was so suspicious. I was like, okay, well, there's no way. They came with proof. They came with so much proof. I was like, oh my God. Like, they came with proof down to the bone. It was insane. So I was like, okay, well, we gotta go through his phone. So he falls asleep that night, and I didn't even bring up anything to him yet. He goes to sleep that night, and I get on his phone, and I'm going through his phone. I'm like, and I go to his apps, and I see that, like, recently downloaded apps is Grindr. And I'm like, what Grindr doing on here? So I grab his, like, phone, obviously, and I reinstalled it, and his dumbass had his password saved onto his phone, and I had the password. So I was just like, put in the little passcode, boom, we're in. I'm looking through it, and it says like messages sent like a week ago and stuff. I'm like, we were dating a week ago. I click on the messages, and I catch this man sending pictures, like, posed up in my thongs. What? Mind you, he's like 6'4", creeping 200 pounds. I'm like 100 pounds, 5'3". He's putting his ass crack where my ass crack goes. What? And then, like, I wouldn't find them in the dirty clothes pile. No. They're, like, folded back up in the drawer. He's folding them back up and putting them back where my ass crack can go into them after his dirty ass has been in them. And there's other questionable things I wish I did not see. Like, I wish I did not see. Anyways, I'm still in this group chat with his exes, and I'm like, guys, I seen some shit. And I'm still friends with a couple of them. Like, I'll call her Indy, and I'll call the other one Jay. We're locked in. I love them too. Now, I get them all on FaceTime, including some other girl, we'll call her Kay. I get them on FaceTime, and I'm like, go off on them. They're bitching him out. I mean, they're like, you stupid, etc., etc. They're bitching him out. And he's just sitting on the couch. I'll reenact it. He's sitting on the couch like this. Sitting just like that. Like, he's hurt. And then he's texting his dad, and his dad's like, you're wrong for doing that to my son. Like, making, like, his exes go off on him. That's dirty. That's wrong. You don't know how they did him. Actually, I do. I'm talking to them on a regular basis. This is the Jepstein files. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? After all that, obviously I break up with them. I'm done. I'm gone. And this stupid bitch literally keeps my fucking birth certificate. I haven't gotten it back yet. Like, I don't have a birth certificate. He's dating a woman. You went through all that trouble to be with a woman is insane to me. Like, literally, stand your ground. Tell your truth, sir. Like, what are we doing? But that was my experience with him. Never date a car guy or a guy with a bike. I'm dating a guy with a bike right now. But if it's like a 300, run. Run. If it's a 300, literally get the hell out of there. Story time about my ex who chronically wet to bed. But this is the part 2 because people wanted more lore. And I feel like it's necessary. So, starting off, I was at my cousin's house. And I caught him cheating on me this night. And instead of apologizing like a normal person, he bows down to me. Like, he's bowing, asking for my forgiveness. I got a picture, hold on. Yeah, this is like, I took this picture. My cousin has another angle, which is hilarious. But this is what was sitting in front of me, asking for my forgiveness. And how do you process something like that? Because I'm just sitting there like, and he's just in front of me bowing. And he was like that for a hot minute too. He was just bowing like that for like, I say about a good 3 minutes. And I was like, okay. But another time, so it was me, my cousin, and him. We were all like in my room, and I had my AirPods in, listening to music, boogieing in the corner, and I take him out. We argue for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. But he threatens to off my mom. Mind you, my mom's in the house asleep, but he like just threatens to off her. What? And then he proceeds to start sobbing, and then throws up all over my bed and floor, and then pisses all over my bed and floor. Like, you have got to be kidding me. And then, so for my 18th birthday, I had a party with his friends and the party with mine. So the one at mine, like, I didn't want him there because it was just me and my one other best friend. So it was just us two. And I'm like, we're sitting there, we're just talking about God knows what. And I get a notification on my phone, a text from him saying, I love you. And then I get a Life 360 report saying crash detected. He crashed his car because I wouldn't let him stay. Because I just wanted girl time. Because I have not been around just my friend in forever. So I wanted girl time. And he was devastated by this. So, like, we pull up, we get there, and he's just sitting on top of his car. Unfortunately, he was fine. But he's just sitting on top of his car, just, like, crying. And I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. The car's not fine. But he's like, yeah, I'm cool. And I was like, okay. Then he had to proceed to drive around a white van. Exactly the van that you're picturing. One of those. So that was eventful. So after my car accident, I, like, was finally healed enough to go back to school. And I'm telling him, like, hey, yeah, I'm going back to school soon. And he's like, no. No. What? He's like, steady on no. I was like, okay, why? And he's not giving me a reason. He's just like, I don't think you're ready. Okay. Anyways, I go back to school, and I find out he has a whole ass other girlfriend. And I'm like, bro's marking his territory on me nightly, and then has a whole other girlfriend. Like, go piss on her. What are you doing? And this one just genuinely cracks me up because he wouldn't let me listen to R&B music because he thinks it made me, like, more schmegally appealing. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the real word, but, like, if I listened to it, he would get so distraught and so mad at me. He only wanted me to listen to rap music because it, like, made me look or seem more masculine. What? I don't understand that. So, in part 1, I seen some comments, and I feel like we need to clear some things up. So, bro was not an alcoholic. He didn't have, like, bladder issues or anything. He just pissed on me for the love of the fucking game. Like, I wish there was more to that, but no. He genuinely just liked it. I don't know. And why did I not leave? Well, as you guys can tell, he was delusional, and I was more scared to leave than I was to stay. I got up out of there, though. And his friend's reaction. So his friend wakes up next to a naked man and he's covered in piss. So his initial reaction was more concern about why he's waking up next to a naked man. And he's like looking at me, he's like, what happened? Did anything like weird happen? I'm like, no. He just fell asleep like that. And he's like, why am I wet? And I'm like, oh, he pissed on you. And he's like, oh. What? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, alright. And he just goes, gets in the shower, and he asks me again when he gets out the shower, did anything happen? Like, can, like, you be honest? And I was like, no, nothing happened. And mind you, I was asleep in, like, a whole different room on, like, the floor with a pillow covered up by a rug. Like, if something did happen, I don't know. But I'm like 99% sure nothing happened. Anyways, if you guys want more lore about my exes, I got it. Just let me know.
Okay, so this is the story time of how I found out I was getting cheated on by my fiance 2 days before our engagement party and 5 days before a moving truck showed up to move us across states. So this is just about when I found out. Obviously, there's like a whole story to it and it's wild, but for the sake of time, so it was a Friday and I had just left my staff Christmas party and I was driving to his house to do Christmas with his family because we were moving from Texas to California in like a week or two, and the moving truck was about to show up and all this stuff right before Christmas. So we were going to do Christmas with his family because they're in Texas, and then do actual Christmas, like Christmas Day and stuff, with my family in California. So I show up right away, something's off. He was supposed to be packing all day. I get there, he's acting weird, nothing's packed. I'm like, what the heck is going on? He lives with his grandma, and they live on like 5 acres, and his mom and dad and brother live on the same land but in a different house. So he goes next door to his parents' house. I don't know why, he just goes next door. I'm at his grandma's house. He calls me and he's like, come over here, like I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, something super weird's going on. So I go over there right away. I'm like, what the F's going on? You're acting so weird. And he's like, I cheated on you. Right away, I don't know how to process this. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, when would you have even done this? Like, we're always together. What are you talking about? This doesn't make sense. Why are you telling me this now? Like, brain goes into overdrive. I go crazy. I'm super mad. But because I was so overwhelmed, like I could really only fixate on like one thing, and I just kept asking him like, why now? Like, why are you telling me this right now? Like, we just got engaged 2 weeks ago and we're about to have our party, we're about to move, like this is crazy timing, what is going on? And I'm like, when did this happen? Who did this happen with? Like, tell me everything. So he tells me it was just some random girl, and that it happened like a week or two into us dating, and it didn't mean anything, and he didn't, he was scared of how much he liked me. He didn't know like what our relationship was going to be, all this stuff, right? I'm like, okay, crazy. I give him the ring back. I'm like, you have been keeping this secret from me our entire relationship. You've been lying to me like crazy. And I tell him like, you're not moving with me and my family. Like, that's not happening. And I'm like, I don't know if we're still together, if we're gonna be together. I don't know about anything else, but those two things are not happening, at least not right now. Like, I need to process this, and these things are coming up and I can't deal with them. Cancel the party, cancel the engagement, like, you're not moving with me, and then we'll figure out the rest. So I'm so pissed, but he's like, I love you so much, I want to be together, we're gonna make it work, all this stuff. And I'm like, no, like, you lied to me our entire time, and like that was such a huge thing for me. Backstory, he worked at a bar, and not always, for the beginning of our relationship, I had really bad trust issues about that, because I was like, you're out at a bar every night with all these like beautiful women, and it just made me insecure. I just didn't like it. I was like, I don't want to date someone who's out in that scene every single night. Like, it drove me a little crazy. But by the time we got engaged, like, I had already worked past all that. I trusted him completely, but come to find out, okay, we'll get there. Okay, anyways, I had a lot of trust issues. We had talked about cheating. I had talked about like, I was a one and done kind of thing. Like, if you did that, I'm out of here. It's not a work through it kind of thing. And he knew it was like a big thing for me, like trust and honesty and all that stuff. So yeah, he's like, it just happened that one time. I'm like, I don't care. Like, this isn't happening. Like, I'm not doing this with you. So I'm pissed. I leave. I get home and I talk to my brother-in-law. So the girl he was cheating on me with told my brother-in-law, because she worked at the same coffee shop. So my brother-in-law managed a coffee shop, and the girl and my ex both worked there. Granted, by the time we got engaged and found all this out, he didn't work there anymore, but that's how they all knew each other. So my brother-in-law was this girl's boss. So she came forward to him right after she saw we got engaged and said, I've been seeing him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to tell her, kind of thing. So my brother-in-law calls my ex and is like, you need to, like, is this true? First of all, he tries to deny it. He's like, dude, why would she say this unless it's true? So my ex fesses up. He's like, yeah, it's true. So my brother-in-law is like, you have to tell her. Like, you have to tell her, like, right now. And this is Friday. This is before I guess, like, hours before I get there. Hence why he didn't get anything done during the day. And so my ex is like, you know, like, I'm planning to tell her, I'm going to tell her, but I want to wait until after we move because I just want to, like, go to therapy with her and I want us to, like, work it out and all stuff. My brother's like, tough, dude, you have to tell her. Like, either you tell her today or I'm going to have her sister tell her, his wife, my sister, who I lived with. It's like, I'm going to have you tell her, you know, and like, you need to tell her or she's going to tell her. Like, she's going to find out today. Like, you're not keeping this, you know, held in or whatever. So that's why he ended up telling me. So I get home and I start asking my brother-in-law all these questions about the girl, like, going forward to him. And he tells me that she said to him that she had been seeing him since January. Not in January, since January. And I'm like, that to me means, like, continuously seeing each other, you know what I mean? And he was so adamant that that wasn't the case. So I talked to my brother-in-law for a while. Eventually I call my ex and I'm like, you need to come over because I've settled down a little and we need to actually, like, talk about this, because I was so mad before I didn't really get real answers and I couldn't even remember what he had said. So I was like, come over, we need to talk about this. So he comes over. I'm asking him all these questions. He swears up and down that whatever she said is wrong and he's telling the truth. It was like 2 weeks into us dating. It was one time. He regretted it. He never talked to her again, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, look, this is like your last shot, buddy. Like, tell me the truth, because if you're lying again, there's no coming back from that. And he's like, why would I lie? Like, I swear up and down. And I'm like, okay, well, look, like, not that it's okay, but, like, I can understand where, like, what he was saying, where he was like, I didn't want to tell you because then we got serious and, like, all this stuff, right? So I was like, okay, like, we're not together right now, but maybe in the future, like, we can work through this. I don't know what that's going to look like, but, like, I mean, I'm still very much in love with him, you know, like, we just got engaged. We were planning our lives together. I was in my mind trying to justify a way to make it work. I was like, we're broken up right now, but we'll see what happens. Like, you need to go to therapy because the fact that you were able to lie to me about this for so long is crazy, like, all this stuff, right? So he's like, you know, I want to fight for this. I want to make this work, all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, like, we'll see what happens, but I'm moving and we're broken up. We're not engaged, everything. So he leaves. The next morning, my sister goes to pick up my mom from the airport because she was going to fly in. This is Sunday. This was supposed to be our engagement party. She was going to fly in and surprise me for our party. So I'm at home with my brother-in-law. My sister and my mom are in the car on the way back from the airport. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to message this girl. I need to hear her side of it. Something is not quite adding up about what he's saying. And I need to be sure, you know what I mean? So I DM her on Instagram and I'm like, look, there's no hard feelings. This is not your fault, but I just need to know, like, from your perspective, like, what happened. That's when she proceeds to tell me that they were seeing each other for 11 months. And I find out that the last time they saw each other was a week before me and him went and looked at rings. And the reason that she came forward is because the night before she came forward, so Thursday night, which we had just gotten back from my nephew's Christmas recital, he texted her and said, I'm moving to California in 2 weeks and I want to see you before I leave. So he was planning to see her again. She tells me, like, I was in love with him and he basically just treated me like, you know, nothing. Like, he would just see me every once in a while, all this stuff, crazy, right? I message him, I'm like, you're a piece of garbage, you suck so bad, like, all this stuff. I go to send him this really long message and he at first is denying it again. He's like, this isn't true. And then I sent him the screenshot she sent me where he's like dirty texting her and asking her to come over and texting her while he was on vacation with me and my family, like, all this stuff, right? And she has all this proof and I sent it to him and then he's finally, after denying it, he's finally like, okay, yeah, I cheated, I suck, sorry. So he fesses up. I go to send him this really long message like an hour later and it fails to deliver. What the fuck? Fails to deliver? You blocked me? That's crazy. So I post on my Instagram story, it's crazy that I find out you cheated on me and you blocked me. His brother's girlfriend swipes up and says he didn't block you. He changed his number. again, crazy. He changed his fucking number like an hour after admitting that he was cheating. He deletes all of his social media, his Instagram, his Facebook, his TikTok account, everything. He deletes everything. There's no trace of him on the internet anywhere other than like on pictures with me on my account. Other than that, like his brother deletes his account, like his whole family. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, so then I messaged him. He doesn't answer. He's blocked. What next? Gosh. Oh, so yeah, the girl comes over then and we start like comparing our stories and talking about like everything, and like we're crying together. She's like, I loved him. I was in love with him, all this stuff. Come to find out, what was it, like 2 months later, she knew about me the whole time. And I guess the reason that she actually came forward was because she found out we were engaged, and she was pretty much like mad that he chose me. Like, and I guess in her mind that was him choosing me, you know. And yeah, so she lied to me too. She came over to my house, was comforting me, I was comforting her, all this stuff, and she knew that he was in a serious relationship the whole time. So that was crazy. Yeah, he's crazy. And then, yeah, I moved to California. I talked to him one other time after that. I FaceTime him just trying to get more answers of like, why did you do this? How could you do this? I realized I'm never going to be able to understand it because I'm not insane like he apparently is. And so I just said, I texted him after we FaceTimed for a couple hours, and I said, I'm never talking to you again. And I blocked him, and I have never talked to him again. He's still blocked. And yeah, I don't know. I did see a couple months after that, which is crazy. His brother got married. I don't know the timeline of all that, but basically like me and him were supposed to, he proposed in Mexico. We were on a cruise and we went to Mexico, and he proposed on the beach in Mexico. And we were supposed to go on another cruise months later for his brother. That was like his family's thing. They loved cruises. I had never been on one, but that was like his family's thing. And his brother was about to get married, and their like bachelorette party, they were doing it like joined on a cruise, and I was supposed to go with them, and they were gonna go to the same place that we had just got engaged. So this is like months later, I don't know how long, but I see that his mom posts on Facebook a picture with him on that fucking cruise, going to the same place that we went to where he proposed to me. Crazy. That is crazy. That is like sociopathic behavior. Like, literally insane. Then like months after that, I see that his brother's girlfriend posted a picture of his brother's girlfriend, my ex, and this other girl I don't know, at a church marriage conference. And I like looked at, it's all about like growing in relationships and like learning how to center God in your relationships, and like stereotypical like I just did something terrible and now I'm gonna turn to God so I don't feel like shit about myself. But yeah, absolutely crazy. There are a million billion more things to this story, but I guess this is just like the actual finding out about it. I went over to say goodbye to his grandma specifically that he lived with, and talked to him one last time before I moved. And this is the last time I talked to him after finding everything out, other than that one FaceTime. And I was like, look, buddy, like we are never gonna be together. Like this is completely over, completely done, like absolutely. So like just be honest at this point. Like there's no reason to lie anymore. Like just tell me. And he admitted that he was also having one night stands. So I had to come home and get tested and fear for my own health. So that was great. And yeah, my life was like terrible for a long time, and I was super heartbroken and devastated. And then I eventually went to therapy so we broke up at the end of 2023. All of 2024 was brutal, like completely going through it, total like just in like heartbreak mode 24/7. But then 2025 hits, and I'm like, okay, it's been a year, time to kind of get my shit together. I go to therapy for 6 months, and things really start to get better. Now it's been 2 years, a little over 2 years, and I'm like in a really good place. I feel like I could start dating again. Like I'm finally past it. And I just remember that I used to, in that first year, watch videos like this all the time. And it just felt so impossible to get to a place where I would ever be past it or over it or on the other side of it. I was so devastated. And I just remember like hoping and praying to God that I would get to a place one day where I could be like telling people like, hey, this happened to me and I'm actually doing okay. I actually got through it. It felt like that was never gonna happen. I was just so heartbroken and sad, and just, it felt like I was never gonna be in love again. I was never gonna be in a relationship again. I was never gonna get married and have kids or trust somebody. I mean, I hated men, like all this stuff. And I worked on it a lot, and I'm finally in a place where I'm like, you know what, like, I don't need to date, but I could, you know what I mean? Like, I'm at a place where I could see myself getting married one day, and I don't believe that 100% of men are terrible people. And yeah, I learned a lot. I learned that I was a lot more naive than I thought. And I do sometimes get sad about, like, I'll never be that person again. You know, I'll never be the girl who was just so trusting. It's funny because I thought I had trust issues, but I did not. I never went through his phone. I wasn't checking his stories. I thought I was crazy, but I was really just crazy because I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't even doing anything crazy. I was never like checking anything, really. Like I never went through his phone, which now I'm like, God, I should have. But like literally, like he told me he deleted Snapchat like 2 weeks into us dating, and I believed him. I never had a reason not to. Even when I had trust issues, my trust issues were just about like him being out at a bar every night with girls, and like he would tell me that they would talk to him and they would like hit on him sometimes. And like that was where it came from. Like, it didn't come from me thinking like, oh, he's texting women on his phone, like all this stuff, which he was. It's just so crazy. Like I learned a lot, and obviously not that I'm glad it happened. I'm not happy it happened to me, but I guess I am happy that I learned I could get through something like that, because I think the reason I waited so long to be in a relationship is because I was always so terrified of heartbreak. And then I went through like the worst kind of heartbreak, beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And I'm happy now. I'm doing good, and I got through it. And I guess I just wanted to post this in case there's anyone going through it right now in any capacity of being cheated on. Like, everything you're feeling is so valid, and I know what it feels like to think that you're never gonna get past it. I can't even describe how much I was there, but against all of my worst thoughts, like, I made it through it, and life's good, and I'm happy, and I'm single, but it's not a sad thing anymore. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I hope that anyone who feels like they're going through it alone knows that they're really not, and that it really, really, really will get better. Okay, so I'm literally at work right now on my lunch break, but I really didn't think a lot of people were gonna see this, so there's just a few things I wanted to kind of like reiterate or clarify or whatever. And then honestly, after this, I'm probably not gonna look anymore, because some of the negative comments like kind of get to me, and I've been spending the last 2 years trying to move past all of this. But the first thing I wanted to say is, like, yes, I was very, very, very naive. I was 22 when I started dating him. I had never been in a relationship before, never been in a situationship, talking to anything. Like I said in my last video, I had always been so scared of heartbreak that I never put myself in the position to get hurt. I had always struggled with my mental health a lot, so I wanted to wait till I was in a good place. And once I hit my 20s, I kind of moved past a lot of those struggles and things. So, but yeah, this is like I hate admitting this, because in hindsight, so many things are clear, but like, I was so naive, and I can't believe that I did this, but we got engaged on our 1-year anniversary. We were only together for a year. I know how crazy that sounds, and what's crazy is, even at the time I knew it was crazy, and I had told him, like, I don't want to get engaged until we live together. Like, I think we should move before we get engaged, and he did it anyways, and I was in love, so I said yes. But yeah, so that was, we were only together for a year, and And I really thought I knew him. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I like this guy, I'm gonna marry him. I thought I knew everything about him. I thought I was so sure I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. You know what I mean? Like, I felt sure. But yeah, that's the first thing. Another thing I wanted to mention is, like, I know in my last two videos, like the part 1 and 2, like, I was talking really fast and kind of like laughing and maybe not seeming like it was super serious, but that's because I was just trying to get it all out in 2 parts, because I had tried to make it earlier and it ended up being a 47-minute video. So I was trying to like get everything of the story out, and yeah, but I mean, it was like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It was traumatic, and that sounds traumatic to anyone who's never been cheated on, but to find out that the person I had been with for a year and sharing all these moments with and would have, you know, trusted with my life was completely lying to me and completely not the person I thought, that really messed me up. And there were a lot of things I had to work through after that that I'm still working on, you know, like accepting that I am apparently very naive and not a good judge of character, and I was being deceived and had no idea. And you know, it goes past him just deceiving me. The reason he was in my life was because he was my brother-in-law's best friend. He came over to our house all the time before me and him even got together. And you know, I mean, my niece and nephew, my brother-in-law and sister's kids, they called him uncle after we started dating, and it moved really fast. And looking back, it moved way too fast, but he love bombed me so hard. And I had never even heard of that phrase until after our breakup, and my cousin Molly was like, girl, you got love bombed. And I had never heard of that, but that's exactly what it was. I mean, hindsight, looking back, I didn't even fall in love with him at first. I fell in love with being loved and being in love and being put on a pedestal and feeling like I was easy to be loved for the first time in my life. And that was what made me fall so fast, so hard. And then to have someone that you don't know that well, that you haven't known that long, be so sure that they want you and they want to be with you, it felt amazing. I didn't, yeah, that's a huge red flag, but I didn't know that. I was so naive and I was so trusting. He told me he loved me, so I believed him. He told me he wanted to marry me, so I believed him. He told me he'd never cheat on me, so I believed him. He told me all these things, and I just believed him. Looking back, that was really stupid of me, but you live and you learn. And I know there's going to be people out there that think I asked for this and I deserved it for being so stupid and naive, but I guess I just have to ignore those people because I did not deserve what happened to me. I treated him really well, and I tried really hard in that relationship, and yeah, it was like really, really, I mean, I used the same words over and over: crazy, devastating, sad, heartbroken, but I don't know how else to reiterate like how hard that time really was. Like, that heartbreak almost took me out. Like, I was just at the lowest point of my life. And so really the reason I made the video was just because I wanted anyone who's been there to know, like, it feels so impossible to move forward, but you will. Like, that's why I made that video. And I know I said that, but it's the truth. Like, you know, the drama is crazy, the tea is crazy. Like, it is a really like wild story, but yeah, I don't know, I'm sure there's more things that I'll think of that I wish I had said, because, you know, I posted that video thinking like a couple of my friends and maybe some random people would see it, but now that more people are, I'm like, wow, I should have included this, I should have added this, I should have said this differently, I shouldn't have said like 50 million times and count how many times I say the word crazy. But yeah, I just am someone who went through something really hard, who just wanted to like tell my story a little bit, I guess. And yeah, if you have any questions you can ask them, but might not answer them for a while. It's my birthday in 2 days, and I'm going to turn off TikTok and ignore the negative comments and focus on me. So
hey, get ready with me while I talk about how my mother's husband essayed me. Yes, I say husband as in still husband after almost 15 years later. Hold please. Apparently my son in his high chair is done eating whatever he's eating. One moment. Okay, here we go. Alright, so when I had just turned 16, I was pregnant with my daughter, Melody. My mother was also pregnant with my sister, Madison. And then, no relation really, but my dad's girlfriend was also pregnant at the same time. It was all crazy. Well, my stepdad is an alcoholic through and through. My mom and I had gone into preterm labor in March. We had the flu, and I guess when you have the flu, if you're kind of far along, it can kickstart contractions from like your vomiting and all of that. I didn't know that that was a thing, but apparently it's a thing. And yeah, so she's in the hospital. I get discharged. And like I said, my stepdad is an alcoholic. And on that night in March is when it happened. And I'm not going to go into like the nitty gritty details of it because I do have siblings and I want to kind of, I guess, respect that in a way. But I mean, how much can you respect that when their dad is literally a pedophile? Yeah. So it happens. I climb out of my window, mind you, about 7 months pregnant. And we had a one-story home, so it wasn't like I'm jumping from the top floor of my house. And I went to the street over because my friend's dad was a retired cop. I call my child's father at the time over and over again. He's not answering. So then I call his mom. And mind you, it's late. Like, it is late. It's probably close to 1 o'clock in the morning. So she comes and picks me up. She takes me to the hospital, the same hospital where my mother is, because she was in preterm labor. So I'm downstairs, my mom's upstairs. The police come, and so I was super pregnant, and in my mind, I was like, if I fight this man off of me, it's gonna hurt my child. So there was no like resistant bruising and all of that. So they said, well, we have to wait, for your rape kit to come back. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking in my mind, that doesn't take very long. Oh, it does. And let me tell you, that's so messed up. But it does. So I am in the hospital, and my mother tells me, well, you need to go back home. He's going to come pick you up because I'm in the hospital. What? Like, what? Like, are you fucking joking? Like, you're joking. And I said no, and they said, okay, well, you'll have to go to DCFS, and if you go to DCFS, once you deliver that baby, the baby goes into DCFS's care because you have no home, or it can go with its father. So my boyfriend's mom at the time was like, you can come stay with us. And I said, okay. Well, I have my daughter, actually ended up delivering her in Florida, and I'm from Illinois. Because my boyfriend's family, or boyfriend at the time's family, said that there was a death in the family. I couldn't be there. Well, I have this baby, and I come back to Illinois, and my mom says, you can't go there, you have to come here. And if you don't come here, you're going to the state. So then I had to live with this man. And it was really messed up So I would just basically lock myself in my room all the time with my baby. I had all my stuff in there. I had an oversupply of bottles and everything, so that way I really didn't have to leave my room unless my mom was home or he was gone. I tried to stay gone as much as I could. And then finally, happened in March, we got the rape kit results back. And I believe it was October. At this point, we'd already moved homes. We'd gone somewhere else. Hold on, my son's crying again. So this is who we hear. Yeah, hi. Okay, you go play. So yeah, so we get the results back. I'm at work. The detective calls me and is like, "Where's your stepdad at? Do you know?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's probably at work. He's either at A location or B location." I said, and he said, "Okay, why?" And I said, "Okay, why?" And he goes, "No reason. I'll call you back later." I said, "Okay." Calls me later and says, "So I just arrested your stepdad. The rape kit came back positive, but I do want you to know that your mother is at the jail bailing him out." Your mother is at the jail bailing him out? Like, what the fuck? So yeah, so she bails him out. She kicks me out. So then I have to find somewhere to live with my baby. Luckily, my friend's mom was willing to take me in. So, you know, that was fantastic. Yeah. And after the arrest, he was supposed to have no contact with me, but he would reach out. He would give me $100 here, $100 there. Like when I would go pick up some of my stuff from the house, he'd be like, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And at this point, like, I've been living with him. And was I scared? Yeah. I was more scared when he was drinking because, not to make excuses for anybody, but I do believe that, like, people who do that to children, they are sick. It is an illness. It is something mental in their brain. And when he wasn't drinking, he's able to, I guess, control his urges a little bit better than when he is drinking, because his ex-wife reached out to me and told me that when they were together, he crawled in his stepdaughter's bed when she was 13 years old, drunk, and was just like, "Oh, wrong bed." Like, what the fuck do you mean, wrong bed? Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me. Yeah. So it was just great. Don't open that cabinet. Yeah. Yeah. Don't open that. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, so he gets arrested. I'm probably gonna have to make a part 2 of this because I'm getting to my 10-minute mark. Are you trying to say hello to everybody? Look! Look. Who's this? Wow! Wow! Alright, go play, okay? I love you. Yeah. So she bails him out. He's out on bail. And it took over a year for him to get his sentence. Okay, stop getting in the cabinet. A year to get his sentence. And that was a plea bargain. A plea bargain. Oh, please, come to part 2. Okay, so he gets this plea bargain because my mother had made me feel so bad, telling me I already ruined her life when she had me. I made life so hard, blah, 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 blah. Now her other kids are gonna have no dad, and, like, I'm 16 years old at this point. Well, 16 going on 17. I'm a child. And I genuinely feel bad for my mom, which I shouldn't, because she didn't even choose me. Like, she didn't choose me. My whole family, well, most of my family, chose her in the situation and said, "Well, we don't want Danielle around because we don't want her saying that our husbands essayed her. I'm like, what? Are you guys joking? Okay. Yeah, so he gets a plea bargain of 180 days in jail. Or prison or whatever. I don't even know where the hell he went. So he gets this plea bargain. And he serves half of it for good behavior. And during this time, my mom is asking me to babysit my siblings so she can go visit him in jail. Still not choosing me. Still, I'm out on my own. Still, I'm, doing everything by myself as a child, which I had a child at this point. So, maybe I should have been, but I don't know. I just feel like she shouldn't have stayed married. Like, to this day, almost 15 years later, it'll be 15 years in March, she is still married to him. Still married. And I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it. And just last night, I think people think it doesn't, affect me, but just last night, I was in my bed sobbing, because I decided, I guess, to hurt my own feelings and scroll through her Facebook and see all these pictures of, them together and these things, and I'm like, as a mom of 2 girls and 2 boys, I'd go to jail. I would go straight to jail if somebody did that to my kids. Straight to jail. And I don't know. It's absolutely astronomical to me that people operate like that. Because I could never. I could never. And yeah. I don't know. And then, so he had to be on intense probation for 10 years and then be required to be on the sex offender list for the remainder of his life. So he finished his probation. While he was on probation, he was not drinking. He was, like I said, alcohol alters the brain of people. And when you have an illness of any kind, I do believe it really enhances it. So was he able to control his urges during his probation period? Absolutely. Once he got off, I don't know. Once he got off and I saw him drinking and doing all those things and screaming at my mom in water parks and cutting her hair to her shoulders and acting like a freaking nutbag, I was like, screw this. I want no part of this. Clearly he's way over. And I cut contact with my mom for about 5 years, almost 6. She just reached out recently. I'm pretty sure it's because I had another baby and she feels like she's missing or out on things or something. I don't know. I don't think it's for me. I think it's for them. And my siblings, my brother and my sister. I think more so my sister wants to see me, but my brother and sister are wanting some kind of relationship with me, which is fine. Which is totally fine. I'm totally for that. But I don't think it's for me. And as much as I appreciate my mom buying my kids things, buying me things, and doing all of those, I think she's in a way trying to buy me. And I'm not for that. Because I don't need to be bought. And my kids don't need to be bought. And my brother and sister had a very different upbringing than I did. We were broke. We survived off of food stamps and government assistance. My sister goes to fucking private school. Never in my life could I have dreamed of going to private school because we just didn't have the money for it. And none of that is funded by my stepdad because he's a freaking loser and lives off of my mother. But, you know, to each their own. To each their own. Oh, yeah, so he finished his probation. He's still on the sex offender list. She's still married to him. I tolerate this crap for God knows what reason. Oh, please, I need to go find a shirt. Okay, so I don't remember where I was in my story. She's still married. She tries to buy me. Her husband's a sex offender. I don't even think my siblings know, like, that he did that or why I didn't come around. And we have one other sister that we all share. Unfortunately, she's a drug addict. And I don't have another option for a dad because he unalived himself back in 2019. Yeah. So, that's my story. It's fun times over here. Yeah. I wish I had more strength in me to maintain boundaries, but in order to have the relationship that my siblings want, I'm almost positive I have to disrespect myself to do that, which kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is at this point. Nothing I can do.
So the only other time that this man came to New York was one morning before school. This is the second time that he came. I get a text message on my phone that he had given to me saying that he's in the town and he wants to see me. So we made the drive again. I think it's like a 12-hour drive, something crazy like that. So my cousin at the time drove me to school every day. And so I was like, hey, we're gonna go meet this man's at Dunkin'. She was like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. So he brought me a teddy bear. He would bring me gifts. The first time he gave me the phone, and then this time was a teddy bear. But that was it. He was in the parking lot. We pulled up. He gives me a teddy bear. He gives me a hug, and then I get back in the car and go to school. So yeah. This is part 2 of the previous video. After my dad ran in with the scissors, my mom took the man into the living room and called the police. They also called 2 of my cousins. My cousins got there first. They both run in. One of them is shirtless. One of them's like freaking out. They both have their, with them. Then the police get there. I'm still in my room, so I don't really know what's going on out there other than what I can hear, but I honestly can't really hear anything that's going on. It sounds like he's on his knees when the cops come in, so they got him down on the ground. But yeah, the cops ended up arresting him. They bring him to jail. From what I know, he was in jail from October 11th, and then he got out on the 25th, I believe it was. He had a $100,000 bond to get out. So that's what I know as far as that part. After the cop car leaves, they take me, my parents took me to the hospital where the detective had told us to go. So I guess it's a whole like grape unit, and so they're like running tests on me. they're just doing the whole nine for somebody who's been essayed. And so that was pretty traumatic experience in itself. But then I went home and we just waited. We waited to see what was going to happen.
Always, and I mean always, be glad that you're the girl being talked about and not the miserable one doing the talking.
So he ended up getting charged with lewd and lascivious battery and statutory on a minor. His bond was pretty high. It was $100,000. He did get bonded out. Before he got bonded out, I had to go to court. I had my parents with me, and then I had somebody who would advocate for me and speak for me because I was a minor, so I didn't have to speak. It went pretty quick. It only took about 10 minutes. He went back to jail. Then somebody bonded him out. He took a plea deal where he would have to do 5 years of probation in the state of Florida. So they put him in Denellen, Florida, which is only about, I would say, maybe an hour and a half away from where I currently live. And so that was really rough, knowing that he was still in the state of Florida. And so a couple of weeks go by, and we don't really hear anything. There's an injunction on him that he can't contact me, he can't see me, I can't contact him, I can't go see him. So after the couple of weeks go by, he contacted me, and a whole new mess came into light that he knows where I live, he knows where I go to school, he knows everything about me, he's talking to me, he's telling me that we still need to be talking, you can't tell anybody that we're going to be talking because now I could get in trouble and I can go back to prison. So I did. I started talking to him again. He would pick me up from school, we would go to public parking lots, and he would just sit there and make me leave school and talk to him and hang out with him because it was my fault that he was in jail. And at the time, I believed him, like it was my fault in my mind. I still, in my head, know that it was kind of my fault because I led everything to believe that I wanted to have a relationship with him. Still doesn't make what he did right, but I mean, there's some fault to me, I guess. I don't know. Now I'm 15 years old, still pretty young, but if somebody did this to my 15-year-old, I would go off. I have a daughter. I understand now. I get it. So it ended up being a total of 80 days that I ditched school to go be with this man in his car in parking lots all over the frickin' city. It was during the day, daylight hours. Nothing really bad happened to the point of needing to call the police. I mean, I should have told somebody, but again, he knew where I lived. And I was just scared. I didn't know what to do. At that point, I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to get re-grounded again for the things that I did prior, like the month before. I had just gotten back all of my stuff. I got my phone back. I got TV privileges back. I was 15. I got my TV taken away. So, like, what more was there to get taken away? And how much more could I have been punished for something that I feel that I could have handled better, but I didn't? I don't know.
All right, open up for me, please. Perfect. So
Roughly halfway during all of the ditching that I did, I had met my baby daddy. And he went to a different high school than I did, but he was still in the same town. I had told him what was going on, and the very last time that I was in this man's car, the very last time I've seen him, he went to jail again. Because he broke the injunction, because I let my baby daddy know what was going on and to come pick me up. When I was inside of this man's car, I said, come get me, because I can't handle this anymore. You get me out of this situation. I need help. So he did. He came and got me, and then we followed him until we made sure he was out of the city. He got on 95, and he drove away, and I've never seen him again to this day. and I was 16 at the time, so this was in 2015. I truly believe that the realization that I had somebody else to be with and to talk to, he left the situation. He got out of there, and he never came back. He never texted me again, and that was the last time. That same day, I went home, and I told my parents everything that was going on and that was happening for the past 80 days. And they contacted the police and all of the detectives that were on the previous case, and he went to prison. He was supposed to go to prison for 18 months because he broke his parole and he broke the injunction. So that was that for a while. On my 17th birthday, he called me from jail. He had somebody in jail call their mother, who then called me on a 3-way call so this man could talk to me. And I remember sitting down, I'm at my mirrors getting ready for work, and I pick up the phone, I'm like, hello, and this random lady's like, hello, and I was like, who is this? And then I hear his voice, and I was like, oh my God. And so I kind of just like sat there, and I was like, who is this? And then he's like, hello, hello. And so I hung up the phone because I was like, I'm not opening this again. Not doing it. And he was supposed to be in prison for 18 months in Florida, but they lost paperwork and he got out in, I believe it was 3. So he only ended up doing 3 months, and then they lost paperwork and he got out. To this day, I never saw him again.